Okay. Hi, our group's presentation. So for our project, we did a podcast. I'm the one who kind of proposed the podcast thing, and it kind of just stuck with everyone. I've been into podcasts a lot for the past 4 or 5 years. I've made a few of them on my own, just kind of recording stuff with friends, just recording our conversations or just other things. I just really like listening back to them and like voice sounded like or all the stupid things we talked about before. I just really wanted to do that with the group of friends I had. So we basically just we all know a lot about and basically taught them all to everyone else, whether it be stuff like oceanography or movies or neat little tricks we have or just like things that interest us, just our hobbies, and just wanted to talk about them and share them with everyone.
Yes, sir.
The person to talk about his hobbies would be Raph. Talking about Raph, what did you start off with again?
I talked about marine life and different issues that affect it. And then I talked about different environmental issues that also affect the ocean. And then I talked about regulations, policies, and laws that we have in place that help with these issues that were talked about in the podcast. That was
and
it.
then next, Adan. Adan, what did you talk about in your podcast?
I talk about martial arts and all the stuff about it. It was cool, and we did little bits and stuff. Yeah.
Next is me. I did two podcasts. My podcasts were about this trick I have, where I can tell you basically what day you were born on, what day certain events in history were on. And I also did one talking about like my history and my obsession with like movies and all the weird information I know.
You do
And
know
then
a
we
lot
have
of information.
Rodrigo, his podcast. What were your podcast about it again, Rodrigo?
My podcast so far was just about skateboarding, the way it was portrayed in the media, and the things that happen behind the curtains, basically, in skateboarding, and what happens in front of our eyes that we may miss.
Along with that, Rodrigo also recorded every single one of those podcasts. Rodrigo, how did you what kind of software did you use in like
Well,
to record the podcast, or
to record my podcast, I used my
was that like
I used what's called shoot, my AMD Radeon.
Did we use Audacity?
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought we used
I
Audacity.
used my AMD Radeon software called Adrenaline 2019. And essentially from there, I had to download an MP4 to MP3 converter and convert the files that I recorded in MP4, so video format, into MP3s, so it would just be the audio recording, and then put that into an editing software, which is called Hit Film Express. We were able to download it for free if we basically just shouted the developers out on Twitter, and it allows you to do pretty much everything that you really need to do in editing for free, and I use that as well. So yeah.
Yeah. We should talk about some of the hardships we had while doing this.
you should. Don, do you want to start? Oh, or Raph, do you want to start on the hardship?
Oh yeah,
I think-
Raph has the most tea to spill when it comes to this podcast.
I think one of the hardships was getting everyone to be in the same podcast at the same time. Because we did have a packed schedule throughout the past few weeks, especially with swim and then theater also having the Shrek play. And I think Rodrigo also had some hardships with like the software, right?
Yeah. I had to
What were
basically
they?
figure it out and experiment a little bit with it.
And then we also came across the whole YouTube like verification issue where we couldn't upload like something over 15 minutes.
hmm
So that was another obstacle that we had to overcome. We had to make sure everything was correct, and then we were able to upload the videos, the podcast, to YouTube.
major problem would probably be like, aside from like getting everyone together, getting everyone like in the mood to record, because we can get us together and get us online. That was one thing, but just getting us all to like actually like
Participate.
either like do our episodes or participate or actually like take everything seriously is also pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm like a saint or anything. I know I did a lot of messing around myself too.
Yeah. Like
I think we
taking
all
a
did.
40-minute shower the first recording session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we should talk about what the purpose was for this, the core purpose of the whole thing. What are your guys' thoughts on the purpose?
Well, the purpose for me was just basically finding a new media of expression, even if it's just like for educational purposes, more or less for the project, I guess. Because I definitely would like to make podcasts on different various sort of topics, even if they're not educational, more entertaining, and I know that's a fault of our society and all that, but I think the purpose
Because we
of
really
it is
do
just-
live in a society.
Yes, we do live in a society. But I think the purpose goes further beyond just us making a podcast.
So it's more like to educate and kind of like spread it around for others to be more aware of issues.
Yeah.
I think it's, and then our interests as well, like Kemdi's interest and Adan's interest as well. Do you think we were successful?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we
I
were.
would say we
Yeah, I
were.
mean, I think for like the little experience we had and stuff like that, I feel like we eventually did get our groove on towards like the I'd say the second or third podcast in terms of like
It's a little rough
our,
around the
like,
edges at
momentum.
first, but I feel like we really kind of hit our knack.
yeah, we got up in the podcast mood. Schmood. Yeah.
And I really don't want to stop. I really like doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
I'd like to do them like even after the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We discussed this before. Like the three of us are gonna keep doing it. I don't know about Raph.
Well,
Raph's
yeah, I feel like I have another idea for a podcast that I can do.
I mean,
have it in my head right now.
talk about like universal stuff, even like just music or something that we listen to cope with, feelings or maybe just pass the day.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this whole Genius Hour project was a success. I mean, maybe it could have been better, like, to get more of an audience, because I looked at our podcast and it's got like a max of 20 views, I think.
It's got
I think we need to work on
Yeah.
24,
We have
25.
four subscribers, right?
Let's spread it out a little more so we can have more of a wider audience.
Then again, yeah.
Yes, I think
But also maybe we should just
Something to
start
work on.
pushing it rather than just passively doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we gotta pay the college tuition, you know.
Yeah, but that really does conclude rather our podcast and our journey through this podcast and our development as a team of making these podcasts because of Genius Hour.
So I think that concludes our presentation.
And
Right.
thank you for listening.